This is really good, guys. This is the best my blood pressure has been my entire pregnancy so far. So, I'm so excited that, made my day. I actually haven't taken my blood pressure in a while, because I've been scared. Because even on medication, it was still, what was my last one? 120 over 90 when I went to the doctor. And that's when she said I need to go see a geneticist, which I know 120 is good. But my high number, or upper number, is usually 113, 114. So even that 120 for me was a little bit high. And the 90 is obviously really high. Not really high, but it's high. And that's with being on high blood pressure medication. So it was way higher than that. It was almost 100, my bottom number, for a lot. Very consistently 96, 98, 99. So, yeah, so that they put me on medication, and even being on the medication for a month, it didn't help, and so that's why she was saying I need to go see a genetic doctor, which I actually have an appointment on Monday to go see him, and he'll start monitoring me more frequently. So sometimes I am just ignorance is bliss, I don't want to admit there's a problem, so I just ignore it, which I know is stupid, but it's what I do. So I just honestly haven't even taken my blood pressure because I don't want to. I don't want to know. So, but right now I was just sitting here and kind of relaxed. So I was like, well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what my blood pressure is. And it was good. It was really good. That bottom number could still be lower. It's supposed to be closer to 70. Normal blood pressure is 120 over 70. So that bottom number is still a little elevated, but for me, that's actually pretty darn good. So I'm super encouraged. Yay. And I just edited all my videos from after camp, 25 and 26 weeks. I'm 27 right now. This is Monday, July 28th. And this may be my first daily vlog. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes. But anyway, I realized that camp, I had mentioned something happened, and I just wasn't ready to talk about it. And I think I mentioned it one more time, even once we were home, that, something happened at camp, but I just would talk about it later. Well, I guess later is now. Because it actually, and for those of you who don't go to church or believe in God, this next part might irritate you, so maybe click out. I don't know. But I am a Christian. I believe in the Word of God. I believe in His people, and sometimes that He speaks through His people to us. And this is why I haven't recorded this, is because I know I'm going to get emotional talking about it. I thought it was fine. I was like, okay, I can talk about it. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So at camp, we are at a kids camp. So it's a bunch of young kids. The oldest is 12. And the speaker there got a word from the Lord for a pregnant lady. Well, I'm the only pregnant lady on that mountain, unless, one of the 12-year-olds has something to hide, which I doubt. So, we had talked a little bit before, hey, nice to meet you, I'm Mandy. Brad and I were activities directors, and he was the speaker, so obviously we were staffed together, so we met briefly. And I am showing, but I think I'm to the point where it's still a little awkward to ask me, because yes, I definitely look pregnant, but, we've all been in those situations where we've asked somebody and they aren't, and so it's really embarrassing. So he came up to me after one of the sessions. I had actually had to go out because Aubrey was getting a little crazy at the end during the prayer, so I went outside with her, and so I was all the way up the hill going towards lunchtime and walking some of our kids from church up, and Brad calls me. He said, Mandy, you need to come back down. And I looked at him like, are you crazy? Because he knows going up that hill took me enough effort, and to have to come down and do it again, like, no, I don't want to. So I gave him the look like, for real? And he looked at me like, come down now. And he's very rarely really serious like that with me. So I knew something was up. So I went down. He was standing there with the speaker. And he said he has something he needs to tell you. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. I don't know this guy. And he said, I had a word for a pregnant woman. And when I looked in the back, I saw you. And I knew it was for you, but I knew it was more personal than to share with the whole congregation or the whole, like whatever, ministry time. Because he had a few other words, and that's actually when I was walking out, is because, it was getting kind of serious and I didn't want Aubrey to disrupt it. So he had a few words for a few other people that I feel like were probably accurate. And, this guy doesn't know us from Adam. This is the first time I've ever met him, the day before this. So he said, so I decided I was going to tell you in private. So he proceeded to tell me that the Lord told him that this pregnancy from the start has been attacked and that the devil is trying to steal it, meaning kill the baby. That, I might struggle with some complications that are going to be scary, and that it's the devil trying to steal this life, steal this baby. And I immediately started bawling, crying because one of the things from very early on is my high blood pressure. It's been too high, and she said that I have this last time, she said that I have a strong chance of having a stillborn. Hang on, Elijah's in here. What?
Look in my shirt.
No. I told you later. If you ask me again, I'm going to put them away. Go play.
It's boring.
Okay,
No
well then
games.
take a nap. Everybody else is taking a nap.
No games.
Hang on. Alright, I'm back. I had to figure out something for him to do. So my high blood pressure, up till, when was my last appointment? 22 weeks? She said I could still miscarry this baby and end up having to deliver it as a stillborn. Nobody wants to hear that at all. But I am taking the medications. I'm taking all the precautions I possibly can. I'm doing everything I know how to do to help this baby become healthy and strong and come into this world full term. So when he said that, of course it hit home, because he's right. I am dealing with complications. I am dealing with the fact that this baby could be taken from me even now. And he finished by saying that God is assuring him and me that life will come forth from this pregnancy, and not just physical life as him, not miscarrying, but coming into the world, but he will also bring spiritual life to the world. Which is so funny because his name is going to be Ezra, which is a prophet. And Elijah, we had tons of problems with him during his birth. I'll have to share that story another time. But he has another prophet name. And Elijah, by the time he was 6 months old, had like 3 or 4 prophecies over his life, speaking of a ministry. So I should have known by doing a prophet name that I was bringing trouble upon myself. And he even said which he didn't know we were having a boy at all. He didn't even know for sure I was pregnant, and he didn't know we were having a boy. So that was kind of even more in my head, like, okay, this is from the Lord, Think whatever you will about stuff like that. It's fine. I'm skeptical sometimes too when people are like, oh, I have a word for you, which that just means they think God spoke to them for you, which that happens. I totally believe in that. But some people, when they say it, overuse it. So I'm always slightly critical. So I listen closely. Most of the time when God speaks in that way, it is confirmation. Like it's something you already know and you're already feeling in your spirit, but God is confirming it to you through someone else because maybe you're just not listening to him close enough, or you just need that extra like push. I don't know. So him saying it was a boy for me was like, okay, this is God, and it's something I kind of was already dealing with. Like I told Brad, this pregnancy, for some reason, I've had so much fear. Like, I am a warrior, for sure. But pregnancy is something that I don't necessarily worry about because I know, one, it's a gift from God, and if he decides to take it, it's his decision. Thank you, Lord. I have never had to deal with a miscarriage because I just don't know how I would deal with it. So he's blessed me in that way extremely. I feel extremely blessed. But from the moment this pregnancy began, fear began. And there was actually a couple of times really early on where I was bleeding. And I know that could be totally normal, and it ends up it was fine. But from that moment, I was like, I'm going to miscarry this baby. You know, like, just that fear, and then my high blood pressure, and then just everything. Like, I have so many bad dreams that the next time I go to the doctor, there's not going to be a heartbeat. You know, just every waking moment of this pregnancy, I have had to battle the fear and the thoughts that come into my mind. I don't know the verse, but it says, take every thought captive. And I've been having to do that because I'm not going to believe the lies of the devil. I want to believe the good things that God has in store for us and for this baby and for our family. He blessed us with this baby unexpectedly. So I know he's going to be he's God's plan for our life, not our plan. So obviously it's going to be perfect, you know? So, and the fact that I was not excited to begin with has just led me to have so much guilt, you know, like, how could you not be excited about this? And because you weren't, you don't deserve it, you know? Wow, this is going to be a really serious video. Start off with blinds and end with this. So yeah, I've had to battle the guilt of that and the fear of losing him and all this stuff. And all that to say, so I went back to my room after that was all said and done and put Aubrey down for a nap, and I literally cried for like 2 hours. And text my sister and told her to pray for me, and text my mom, or actually I think I called her, and told her to pray for me because this word was meant to encourage me to know that life is going to happen, that this baby will be born and he'll be fine. But at the same time, it confirmed my fear, you know, that I was writing off as just hormones or, I don't know, too much worry or whatever. I was writing it off. But for me, the confirming of my fear meant that I really wasn't listening to God, because that whole time I was fearful, I should have been praying. I should have been warring for this baby, because I knew something was wrong and something was different, and I didn't get on my knees about it. So I was a little disappointed in myself that I've let it go this far and I haven't given it to God, you know? This might not make any sense to some of you. I'm sorry. I told you to click out a long time ago. So I cried for 2 hours, and then I probably spent the next hour praying. And you know, it's so stupid. I've dealt with this sickness in my body, and I I took the medicine, I took the doctor's advice, I did all this, but I didn't once say, Lord, heal me. Why? Why didn't I think of that? You know, it just was kind of like a spiritual check too, you know. Like, that should be our first line of defense, is to pray. I know some people, I'm trying to calm down, sorry. This is why I haven't filmed this. You know, some people say, oh, just pray or give it to God. And it seems like such a passive thing to say, like, oh, you have cancer, pray about it. But it's actually one of the most powerful things we could do is to pray about it. And here I am a pastor's wife, a pastor in my own right, and I tell people this stuff all the time, but I don't do it for myself. You know, I just go through the motions like I don't have the power of the Lord on my side. I just forgot about it. So, whatever. But since then, I have been praying about it. I have been giving it to the Lord. And this blood pressure is getting better. Go figure, right? I'm still taking the medications. I'm still taking all the precautions, which I did the month prior, and it didn't help. And this month, the only thing I have added in is prayer and petitioning the Lord on the behalf of my child. And He's answering that. I gotta pull myself together here. So, I guess I'm sharing this because, one, when we watch this back later in our lives, we'll remember how we had to war for our baby and what a miracle he is and a blessing he is. And two, if you're struggling with something, pregnant or not, and you just don't feel like you're getting anywhere with it, pray about it. Give it to God. And if nothing physically or that you can see happens, I think even with all that, I've had peace this month instead of such fear. Like, it just brought in God's peace. I still get worried. I still have moments where I'm like, oh man, because He did say this whole pregnancy is going to be a battle. This whole pregnancy I'm going to have to war for my baby. So there are moments where that fear creeps in, but now I know what it is. I think it's a healthy reminder from the Lord that we do not fight against flesh and blood. And I am not fighting my own body. I'm fighting the spirits at war for this child. And how exciting that this baby is a threat to the devil even now. So much so that he's trying to steal him from me. But we won't let that happen. And I guess I'm telling you this too, because if you are a Christian and if you do believe in the power of prayer, please pray for our family. And just pray that this baby comes into this world healthy and strong like we know he will. And here comes Elijah again. Okay. Not so serious stuff later.